Hi, my name's Jayne Everson and I'm your coach for this month for Psychology's magazine. And this month we're focusing on happiness at home and healing relationships. We're on week 4, so the last week. So thank you for all of those that have joined me for weeks 1 to 3. And this week we're going to focus on managing stress in your relationships and at home. Stress is something that can cause so much conflict and unhappiness and ill health within your family environment and in your relationships. It's important to be aware of when you or your loved ones, the stress has built up and become too much. Stress is really just it's a feeling. It's an overwhelming feeling of having too much to do or too much to worry about. And sometimes we can't really put our finger on, what it is that is making you feel this way. Sometimes it's multiple events that have built up over time, but we can't actually visualize what those things are. We certainly feel them. We feel them here. We can feel that tightness in our chest. We can feel panic, our heart rate's raised, we feel agitated, sometimes we feel tired and we just can't sleep at night. So the stress has a big psychological effect on us and a physiological effect. So learning techniques to manage stress is really, really important. And for those of you that have ever looked at the physiology of stress, some stress is actually good for us. But it's when it's out of control and we don't have effective ways of managing it, it becomes really, really negative. So I've devised a technique that I use in my coaching called stress rabbits. And it's a way of visualising your stress as an object or as an animal. So you can actually give a name to what the stress is and what's causing those feelings to rise up in you. You can use this technique with your children or other family members or even work colleagues to get them to think about, what is the stress? Give it a name, give it a shape, give it a feeling. So throughout our life, if you could imagine like a bucket that slowly fills up with stressful events, and if you don't deal with that bucket can overflow or it can start to stretch and expand out the sides. And when that happens, the stretching and expanding out the sides of the bucket, we often have symptoms of ill health. We may get overweight, our blood pressure may go up. We may even start to suffer panic attacks and have depression. And if it spills up over the top, that's when people start to have anger management issues or emotional outbursts. And sometimes it can be really unexpected in people. So this technique that I'm going to show you is a way of getting to understand what is in that bucket, what's filled that bucket up. So I want you to imagine what these rabbits are and actually what your limit is. How many rabbits would be present in your life for you to feel stressed and feel that you need to do something about it. So we're going to split these rabbits up into 3 categories. Now there is always going to be, in category 1, there's always going to be stress in your life that you can do nothing about. And sometimes just that pure acknowledgement of saying, I can't do anything about this, I cannot change it, I have to accept that's the way it is a way of you being able to move on from that stressor. So write down those things that you truly cannot do anything about and you just have to accept and just move on from those stress points. The second category is looking at those stressors or those stress rabbits that you can actually do something about right at this moment. Because what is really good for stress, to switch off our fight or flight mechanism, is to take action. So those ones that you can absolutely do something about now, do them now. When we finish this recording, just get on and write them down and say, right, I'm going to take action this week and do something about them and move these stresses out of my life. The third category are ones that you can't do anything immediately, but you can take action to plan to do something and have a plan and some goals to move those stresses on. Now, what this does in acknowledging and writing down these stresses, these stress rabbits, is it gives a name to each of those stress points, and you then have an action list of something that you can manage actively on a day-to-day basis, on a weekly basis, and you can keep track of how many stress points you have at any one time, and it gives you a really good feel of where your status quo is. When is enough stress okay, and it makes you feel motivated and energized and positive, and when is that stress too much? When have you tipped over that point of having too many rabbits to deal with? And then you can start to proactively manage this throughout your day or your week or your month, and recognise when other things are starting to come in. And it could be as simple as you've just seen that rabbit pop his ears up through the burrow, and you're just ready, you're there. It's a bit like whack a rat at the fun fair. You're there to get that rabbit back down its hole again before it actually causes you any stress in the future. I quite frequently have my coachees sending me emails saying that I'm managing those rabbits, or I've killed those rabbits, or some other analogy, whatever works for you. But give it a go and see if it helps you, and then you can teach other family members about this technique and get them to understand, where are they in their stress relationship. How many stresses have they got in their life? You can help them deal with that action plan and work out things that they can do something about, or even that you can help them with. My husband quite frequently will say to me, I'm at 7 rabbits and I need to get them back down to 5 or 4, and then I'll feel more in control. So yeah, give it a go and see. Let me know how you get on with it, because it's a great technique. The second one that I want you to look at to really help with your stress levels within your family is think about, do you make space each week for your friends and your family and spending time with them? I sometimes, after a busy week, I suddenly realise that actually we haven't had any time out. Tech-free for maybe a couple of hours, you just watch a movie. It doesn't have to be something that costs money. It's just going for a walk and being mindful, using some of the listening techniques that we've been talking about, and truly listen to your friends and your family and spend time with them. Because sometimes we don't realise how involved we've got with work, or just something that we're focusing on, even studying. And we need that time out. And sometimes, you might get a bit of a kicking and screaming from the kids, but, just take the tech away from yourself and the children, or suggest to your family and friends they do the same. And you just have that complete time and space, uninterrupted, for you to spend time with each other. I know some couples that have date night, and I suppose it's an equivalent of a date night with your friends and family, that you're there being truly present. If you can't do it once a week, then just try once a month, just baby steps, just try and do it as often as you can, and then just really allow people to have that quality time with you and you with them. And you can give them options, give them choices, so everybody feels that they're involved in the decision of what you're going to do. Now, the next thing that I want to explore is actually making time for yourself. So we're going full circle back to week 1 if you listen to week 1, and it's actually giving time to yourself as well. You know, just being aware of your breathing, your surroundings, being there for you helps you manage stress too. And sometimes we're so focused on everybody else in our lives and things that need to be done. And actually, you know, things can wait. You know, I had a grandmother who used to come round to my house and just run her finger over the shelves. And she never used to say anything. But it'd be enough to trigger a response in me that whenever anyone came round to the house, I had to have a fit of dusting and polishing. And it was a learnt behaviour and a learnt reaction. And it was completely irrational. And actually, my friends and family don't care if I haven't dusted a shelf before they come round. So just think about, are there things in your life that you're wasting time doing that are learnt behaviours and just learnt habits from our childhood or growing up or from other family members that are really robbing you of time for yourself and time to spend with your family. And we also don't always take time to manage our stress in our lives physically. So next time you have that fight or flight response and you feel stressful, just take time to focus on your breath. We mentioned it in some of the other weeks that just this gentle breathing technique can really just calm your whole stress response down and get you back and present in your life and in your relationships. So you breathe in to the count of 7. And you can close your eyes if you want to. And then you just breathe out to the count of 11. And just carry on with that breath until that feeling of anxiety and stress has passed. And then you can be back and fully present in your relationships and be in a better place to move on and focus on what's important to you. So I hope that some of these techniques have really helped you. I've loved spending time with you in this last 4 weeks, and I'm sad it's come to an end. But yeah, if any of these techniques you want more information from me, then please feel free to contact me. I'm in the coaching directory on Psychologies magazine, and I look forward to hopefully connecting with you sometime in the future. Thank you very much.